वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जन रंजन जय ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन जय ब्रज जनरंजन जय ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरावनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस शिल भय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन विविध संस्थापक आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्री हरदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड श्री गिरिगोवर्धन की। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की। गंगा माई जमुना माई की। भक्त देवी तुलसी महारानी की। कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की। श्रील प्रभुपाद ट्रांसलेशन बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की। श्री श्री राधा गोविंद देव भगवान की। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की। श्री श्री रुक्मिणी द्वारकाधीश की। ताई गौ प्रेमानंदे। ऑल गुरुज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल गुरुज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल गुरुज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज, ऑल गुरुज श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरांग। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता श्री राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरे प्रिये। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam on the occasion of the appearance of Rukmini Devi, Canto 10, Chapter 52, chapter entitled Rukmini's Message to Krishna, text number 38. Katva mukunda mahati kulashila rupa vidyavaya dravina dhama bhiratma tulyam धीरापतिं कुलवती नवृणीत कन्या काले नरसिंह नरलोकमनोभिरामम्। का हु त्वा यू मुकुंद O Krishna, Mahati, aristocratic. Kula, in terms of family background. Sheela, character. Rupa, beauty. Vidya, knowledge. Vayaha, youth. Dravina, property. Dhamabhir, and influence. Atma, to yourself only. Tulyam, equal. Dhira, who is sober. Patim, as her husband. Kulavati, of a good family. Navranita, would not choose. Kanya, manageable young lady. Marriageable young lady. Kale, at such a time. Hari, among men. Simha, O lion. Naraloka, of human society. Manaha, to the minds. Abhiramam, who give pleasure. Translation by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O Mukunda, you are equal only to yourself in lineage, character, beauty, knowledge, youthfulness, wealth and influence. O Lion among men, you delight the minds of all mankind. What aristocratic, sober-minded and marriageable girl of a good family would not choose you as her husband when the proper time has come? Hare Krishna. So you got a very good sound system. Who's managing? Okay. So it's a pleasure to speak with such sound system. Added pleasure. So I chose this particular verse because it is also Narsingha Chaturdashi coming up, and I spoke on Narsingha Dev yesterday evening and again today afternoon, and in the morning some people may have come thinking that we will speak on Narsingha, so how to connect Rukmini Devi and Narsingha together. So this particular verse kind of brings in that theme. Kale Narasimha Naraloka Manobhiramam. Of course, there is no purport in this particular edition of the Bhagavatam, but I have read the Acharya's commentaries on this, and they explain two words more in detail. Katva Mukunda. So they say Mukunda basically means Mukhe Kunda. That means Krishna's teeth appear to be like Kunda or like Mogra flowers. So when Krishna smiles, so all of his teeth appear like Mogra. And basically Rukmini Devi is wanting a husband like Krishna, and she is presenting her case. And she is saying that for anyone who wants to get married, then these are important characteristics. Kula, which family the person is coming from, which caste the boy or the girl is coming from, and if you are in India, which subcaste and which subcaste, right? And all of those play a very important role. And Sheela, in terms of character, what is the character of the person? Rupa, beauty, Vidya, education, Vayo, age, Dravina, the wealth which a person has. People also see which car the person is driving. Sometimes they borrow the car while going to see girl. Dhamabhir, and influence, how much influence he has. Atmatulyam. So Krishna is practically the knower of all the Vedas. You can't compare with his Vidya. As far as his Dravina or wealth is concerned, millions and millions of Lakshmis are competing to just have a glance of his mercy. Shri Rupini Kwaneti Charanarvindam Leelambujena Harisadmani Mukta Doshaha Samlakshate Spatika Kudya Upetya Hemni Sammarjativa Anugrahanena Yatna. Bhagavatam describes that in Vaikuntha it is seen that millions and millions of Lakshmis are sweeping the floors of Vaikuntha. Shri Rupini Kwaneti Charanarvindam, as she is walking, the nice sound is coming from her feet of ankle bells. Leelambujena, and she is carrying lotus flower in her hand. Harisadmani Mukta Doshaha, and the only place you can see that Lakshmi is without her regular dosha or fault. And the fault of Lakshmi Devi is she is fickle. She does not stay at one place for long. But only in Vaikuntha she does not have that dosha. Why? Samlakshate spatika kudya upetya hemni. And Vaikuntha is a place where all the floors are actually lined with gold. Samlakshate spatika kudya upetya hemni. Right? Just like your designs here appear to be of gold. It is paint, of course. But all the lines, the crystal floors designed with gold. So the floors of Vaikuntha are crystal, so naturally why you need sweeping? There is no dust in Vaikuntha, but why the Lakshmis are still sweeping? Sphatika kudya upetya hemni sammarjativa anugrahanenya yatna. Because the Lakshmis need to attract the attention of Krishna, of Vishnu, to engage in his service. So therefore Lakshmi is called Saubhagyavati. Anyone who gets the glance of Lakshmi is considered to be fortunate. Hard to somehow or the other get a glance of Lakshmi. And millions of Lakshmis are struggling hard to somehow get a glance of Lord Vishnu. So you can imagine who is this Vishnu. Samlakshate sphatika kudya upetya hemni sammarjativa. So a normal person in this world considers himself to be very fortunate if he gets an insignificant portion of the fortune which Lakshmi Devi can bestow. But Lakshmi Devi considers her greatest fortune to receive some insignificant service to Krishna. So the question is, do we realize our fortune of getting so much of service in the mission of Krishna? We are chanting every day, O divine energy of the Lord, O all attractive Krishna, please engage me in your service. But are we really crying out with that kind of a laulyam or greed? Please give me more service, please give me more service. This is the fortune which even the Lakshmis are dying for. Or we say, please engage him in your service. I am getting overdose. Please give him also. He is more qualified. So here, very beautiful point, that in all of these aspects, Rukmini Devi is glorifying Krishna. Dhirapatim. And she is saying that you are the most sober personality. Kulavati na vrinita kanya. You are sober and I am coming from a very nice aristocratic family. So therefore, our marriage is destined. Kale Narasimha Naraloka Manobhiramam. Okay, Naraloka Manobhiramam. My dear Lord, O Krishna, you give great pleasure to the minds of everyone in this world. Manobhiramam. One who gives pleasure to the mind. The mind is looking constantly for some kind of pleasure. But Bhagavatam describes that to the extent one gets attached to the sense objects, to that extent one experiences misery. The more sense objects attack us, the more one experiences misery. So what really gives pleasure is the darshan of the Lord. Darshanam no didrikshunam dehi bhagavatarchitam rupam priyatamam swanam sarvendriya gunanjanam. Just by seeing Krishna's beautiful form, sarva indriya gunanjanam, all of the senses become perfectly pacified, satisfied, peaceful, happy, blissful. So Krishna's form is actually meant to give pleasure to all the senses. Therefore he is called Govind. Radha Govind, one who gives pleasure to the mind and to the senses. So therefore she uses one particular word, Kale Narasimha. So Narasimha here is used by Rukmini Devi for a very specific reason. And she is saying that because Krishna has been unmarried so far, at the time of this description of this pastime, Krishna is not yet married. Krishna is still an unmarried, eligible bachelor. And Krishna has spent his time in Vrindavan for 11 years. And in Vrindavan, Krishna had millions and millions of gopis as girlfriends. Is it not? So many times people ask question, why Krishna had so many girlfriends? It's a regular question. We cannot understand this. One college student was challenging me. What kind of God is this? He is having so many girlfriends. Why he is having so many girlfriends? I said, that is not your real problem. Your problem is why you don't have even one. So these are all expansions of his internal potency, and unless one is a devotee, he cannot understand these pastimes. Right? So therefore, what Krishna did in Vrindavan is something which only by grace one can understand. But so far, Krishna, he is simply enjoying his pastimes in Vrindavan, then Mathura, and he has come to Dwarka. And so far he is unmarried. And this is the first time even a proposal for marriage is coming in this form. And therefore Rukmini Devi is afraid that by hearing her proposal, Krishna may respond that so far I had many relationships with many women, but I did not have the burden of a marriage. I did not have the serious responsibility of marriage where I was bound by rules and regulations and duties. Where after doing certain things I have to go back home and report. And there is someone overseeing my activities. It's a serious responsibility. And one of the fears Krishna may have is that I will always be answerable to Rukmini. If I come home early, I have to say why I came home early. If I came home late, why I came late. For everything I will have to give answer. All my locations will be traced constantly. Where I am, what I am doing. So Rukmini Devi is thinking that Krishna may fear the loss of independence. And therefore he may reject the marriage proposal, thinking that I am a free bird now. I am enjoying life without any encumbrances of married life. No one can question me. I can do what I want. But then if I get involved with Rukmini in a serious relationship of marriage, then that freedom will go away. Because she'll start controlling me. So Rukmini, predicting this thinking of Krishna, is writing, Kale Narasimha Naraloka Manobhiramam. O Krishna, you are Narasimha. I know you appeared in a form as Narasimha. All the incarnations are within your form of Krishna, including Narasimha. And when Narasimha came out of the stamba and started screaming and shouting and killed Hiranyakashipu, 33 crore demigods could not stand in front of him. They were trembling. And they started fearing that Narasimhadev is so angry, he has killed all the demons and he is looking up at the sky. And in anger he may not recognize that we are demigods. Because you know what happens when someone is in anger, he starts screaming and shouting and beating whoever comes. Right? Sometimes, some thieves come and devotee starts beating the thief and another devotee tries to stop him and catch him and he gets beaten also. So, the demigods were also fearful that if his anger goes on increasing, he has already consumed all the asuras. If this fire is not stopped or decreased, it may increase further and he may extinguish all of us. So Narasimha is very deadly. So therefore Rukmini Devi is saying, you are, Narasimha is a is an expansion, is one of the incarnations who came from you. And even Lakshmi at that time looked at Narsingha and told all the demigods, I cannot control this person. She surrendered. So therefore, don't worry. Nobody can control you. I can never control you. It is not possible. Even after marriage, you will continue being a free bird. You can do what you want, but marry me. That was the import behind calling Krishna as Narasimha. So Rukmini is calling Krishna Narasimha in this particular, letter. Brahman Krishna Katha Punya Madhavir Loka Malapaha Kona Tripyeda Srinvana Shutagya Nitya Nutana. So Maharaj Parikshit is beginning this pastime by asking a question to Shukadeva Goswami. So we are now actually beginning the pastime of Rukmini's message to Krishna. Brahman Krishna Katha Punya, saying, oh my dear Shukadeva Goswami, please explain to me glories of Krishna. What are some of the characteristics of Krishna? Krishna Katha is punya, pious. Madhvi lokamalapaha. Secondly, Krishna Katha is madhuvir. It is very sweet, just like honey. Madhvi. And third is, it is lokamalapaha. It is purifying and it is ever fresh. Konutrapeta shanvana shutagyo nitya nutanaha. It is ever fresh. Ever fresh means, in spite of hearing repeatedly, one will never feel satiated. Right? Now, in another 2 days, we are going to have Narsingha Chaturdashi. So all of you know the pastime of Lord Narsingha. Every year it is the same. Is it not? Lord Narsingha Dev appears on the pillar, kills whom? And protects whom? You already know. So do we still need a lecture on that day? Because it is ever fresh. Every pastime brings out so many different moods and evokes so many emotions. Nitya Nutanaha. So Nitya Nutanaha means this. Right? It is ever fresh. Like that. So then question arises that why still we feel sleepy? If it is ever fresh. Huh? It is ever fresh. But because our stage is not of purified stage, so we do not feel attraction towards the Krishna Katha. Somebody was telling me, Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. By hearing Bhagavatam, all the anxieties go away. And when anxieties go away, nice sleep comes. So Nitya Nutana, it is ever fresh. Like Rukmini's pastime. Rukmini sends a letter, Krishna receives it. Krishna goes in a chariot and he kidnaps Rukmini and prevents whom from marrying? Shishupal. That's it. So whatever Krishna does is very dramatic. This is the first marriage Krishna is having, but he's having in style. Right? So there are 7 types of marriage, and this type of marriage which Krishna is going to have is called Rakshasa style of marriage. Rakshasa style of marriage means where the Kshatriyas can go and kidnap a girl and run away. So these were all allowed in the previous yugas. Just as a clarification. Because I could see some young men smiling, satisfied. That there seems to be Shastric reference to this. So, the effect of Krishna Katha is it cleanses the world's contamination. So Maharaj Parikshit is very eager to hear Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka. So King Bhishmaka is described as the ruler of Vidarbha. So some of you may be from Maharashtra, so you know Vidarbha, and there near Nagpur there is Amravati, and in that region there is a place called Kundinpur, and Kundinpur is the place where Maharaj Bhishmak was having his capital. So he had 5 sons, and those 5 sons were called Rukmi, Rukmarata, Rukmabahu, Rukmakesha and Rukmamali. And apart from these 5 sons, he had one daughter whose name was Rukmini. So the pastime describes how Rukmini Devi was very much aware of Krishna's glories. How could Rukmini understand Krishna's glories? From where Rukmini heard about Krishna? It was a day and age where Facebook was not available. Krishna was not sending WhatsApp messages to Rukmini. How did she become aware? Sopashrutya mukundasya rupa virya gunashriyah grihagater giyamana tam mene sadrisham patim. So various saints and sages used to come to the house or the palace of Maharaj Bhishmaka, and they would sing glories of Krishna. Sopashrutya mukundasya rupa virya guna shriya. And Rukmini would constantly hear about these pastimes of Krishna being sung. And they would specifically refer to Rupa, the beauty of Krishna. Virya, sorry? So grihagater giyamane. So when you glorify someone, so you glorify in terms of some of their good qualities. That means their beauty, virya, their strength, guna, their qualities, shriya, their opulences. So Krishna's opulences, Krishna's beauty, all of these were constantly being glorified. And therefore, grihagater giyamana, and just by hearing about it, tam mene sadrisham pati. Rukmini Devi started accepting Krishna as her husband within her heart. So therefore, hearing about someone creates attraction. That is a law of attraction. Right? Hearing about someone's energies creates the attraction. So I always give the example that, we have a Bhagavatam class where we are hearing about Krishna, and probably 150 people are here. But suppose you bring in, a famous cricket player, say Sachin Tendulkar, and we say that today morning, along with the Bhagavatam class, there will be some realizations by Sachin Tendulkar. How many more youth will come? You will have to have in a stadium. Why? Because he has certain energies. And how those energies are manifested. Because he has that energies, he becomes attractive. And those energies are manifested as a result of a spark of Krishna's splendor. So therefore, all of these energies make a person attractive. Because he has that energy, he becomes attractive. So similarly, all of these energies of Krishna make him attractive. And therefore, tam mene sadrisham pati. So attraction for Krishna develops by hearing his glories in the association of sadhus. That is most important thing. In the association of sadhus. Right? Like in the Russia, when the KGB regime was very powerful, there are many instances of KGB agents, and it was very difficult in that period to actually have open classes. So the devotees would secretly have classes in small rooms. And in a room as small as 100 square feet, sometimes more than 100, 150, 200 people would try to squeeze in, somehow or the other. And it would be extremely impossible for anyone to figure out what's going on inside, because they would just be covered from all sides. But the KGB found out that these kind of activities are going on, and they would send their agents. And many times these agents, when they would come in that association, by hearing the lectures, many of them joined and became Hare Krishnas. That is the power of association and hearing in association. Right? One of the devotees joined the ashram, and his very best friend, he was very angry that how could you join like this? He was like his room partner. They were working and staying together. So this guy came fighting in the ashram. And this devotee didn't want to fight with his friend, so he directed him to another devotee. You ask him why I have joined. And I want to know from you why you have joined. I won't allow you to come and stay in the temple like this. He says, no, I can't talk to you, talk to someone else. So he directed him to another devotee. And he couldn't be very aggressive with a new person. So he was very angry. He said, I want to know why my friend has joined. And he said, okay, relax. It is time for prasad now. So first prasadam. And after prasadam, and they gave him a place to rest. By the time it was evening, they said, why you should travel all the way back, stay overnight. Next day, by the way, we have some arti, attend arti. Arti over, there is some class. By the way, again there is prasadam. So like that, 1 or 2 days this guy stayed. And in the process, he became devotee. So then he was joining. He was also joining. So that time we told Radhanath Maharaj that this is how he became devotee actually. He came to fight with his friend. Why he has joined, and then he became devotee, and now he is joining. Maharaj said, make sure someone comes to fight with you. So the association is very powerful. Dadati pratigrhanati guhyamakhyati prikchati bhungte bhojete. It may appear very simple, small thing, but it's very powerful. So therefore many people are very afraid of ISKCON temple. Even families, they say, any other temple, okay, ISKCON temple. Yad gatva nanivartante. One fellow, I was giving some prasad. I said, अरे प्रसाद ले लीजिए. नहीं, अरे ले लो. नहीं. क्यों? अरे इसमें तुम लोग कुछ ऐसा मिलाता है, बाल निकल जाता है. So here, Rukmini Devi has become attracted to Krishna by hearing his glories. So you sit and hear Krishna's glories. The process is simple, but the effect is miraculous. So therefore, the Lord is also Sadrisham, means that the soul is also equal in quality to Krishna. And we can see that on one hand, Rukmini wants to get united with Krishna, and this whole pastime can also be seen in terms of how the soul wants to reconnect with Krishna. And the attempt of the soul to reconnect with Krishna is filled with challenges. And the soul's attempt will be thwarted by the mind and by the senses and by all the various anarthas. And it is not easy. Therefore, the process is the process of mercy. The only power the soul has to cry out to Krishna, to express his intent to Krishna, and allow Krishna to respond and reciprocate. Tat avetya asita pangi vaidharmi durmana bhrisham vichimtyaptam dvijam kanchit krishnaya prahinodrutam. So at this point, Rukmi, who was the brother of Rukmini, he envied Krishna very much. And Rukmi had a great desire that Rukmini should get married to Shishupal. And Damaghosha, that is the name of Shishupal. And he was trying his level best to make it happen. And Rukmini was aware of the plans of his brother, of her brother. So Rukmi representation of the conditioned mind. And the conditioned mind is filled with envy. The envy, Prabhupada defines as, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, why does the soul fall from the spiritual world? And Prabhupada said, causeless envy. Another time Prabhupada also said, causeless stupidity. Causeless envy. Right? So Prabhupada said there are two kinds of envy in this world. First kind of envy is to think, I am the enjoyer. Second kind of envy is to think, I am your savior. To think that I am your savior is also envy. Because we are coming between Krishna and someone. So therefore, to act as a block between Krishna and someone is a sign of envy. So Rukmi represents this principle of envy. And therefore, Rukmi is like, the mind, and Shishupal represents that envy of Krishna. And Shishupal right from very beginning was envious of Krishna. When he was born, the first thing which came out was blasphemy of Krishna. And Krishna had given one benediction that at the most 99 blasphemies I will tolerate. If his blasphemy goes beyond 99, I will kill him. And Rukmi would be, our Shishupal would be filled with so much anger that he would start blaspheming. But he also knew this benediction. So he would keep count of how many blasphemies he has made. It was very organized blasphemy. And he would make sure he never goes beyond that limit. Because he knew he would be killed. But he had a history of enmity and envy towards Krishna. And therefore the jiva, when the jiva starts envying the Lord, the jiva wants to have his own independent kingdom. And therefore this material world is created and a special program is set in the ego, which makes each soul feel, I am the Lord and the Master of my kingdom. And the unique feature of the software in the false ego is that the kingdom which each person thinks about he is controlling is illusory. It can overlap with other kingdoms. And therefore it is not cut out in, that kingdom is not cut out in stone, just like in the revenue department, where properties, if they clash, then it goes into a court case. 3 people simultaneously could be thinking that I am controlling. And all are happy in their illusion. That is the beauty of this false ego. Right? Each one is thinking. Like Gopinath Prabhu, Radha Gopinath Prabhu tells the story. One gentleman entered a room. He was having a limp. He was walking with a limp. Langada rahe the. And there were 3 doctors who were sitting in that room as he entered. So one doctor said, he is limping because he was an orthopedic surgeon, no? So he said, he is limping because he is having a fracture in the leg. So there was another cardiologist. He said, no, he is limping because, his heart is not pumping blood properly. And because of that, he is not able to walk properly. The blood supply is not sufficient. Third was a neurosurgeon. Said, actually his nervous system is down. And therefore he is limping. So finally they decided to ask him only. And each was convinced of his opinion. They asked this guy, why are you limping? क्यों लंगड़ा रहे हो? वो बोला, अरे मेरा हवाई चप्पल टूटा है. But suppose you don't ask. Each person has his own theory and is satisfied with his theory and is thinking that I am perfectly right. So therefore it happens all the time where we think that I am controlling the situation. I am in total control of the situation. So here, Vichintyaptam, understanding the situation, Rukmini realized that Rukmi has planned to bring Shishupal in and connect him with me. So first of all, I must do something about it. So there are 4 points which comes in this beautiful verse. Tat avetya asita pangi. So avetya means knowing. The first step is the mind must become aware that I am under the control of these anarthas. Greed, pride, lust, envy, anger, illusion, they are anartha. What is the meaning of anartha? What is the definition of anartha? Anartha means unwanted. But a more graphic understanding of anartha is that suppose you go to New York City with 100 rupees and you show the 100 rupees in a shop and say that, give me 5 coconuts. So with 100 rupees across the counter, what you will get in New York City? By showing rupees, what you will get? The shopkeeper will say, bring $1. Say, no, this is bona fide. Gandhiji's photo is there. And it is rupees in Mumbai, in Kolkata, I could buy so many things. Give me. But in spite of your showing all that, you are not going to get anything. Why? Because the currency does not fly there. The local currency is dollar. So as far as rupee is concerned, by showing rupee, you will not get anything in exchange. Right? By showing it, you won't get anything in exchange, in return. Therefore, that becomes anartha. Anartha means that which cannot buy you anything in US. So similarly, greed, pride, lust, envy, anger and illusion, it has some value. Where? In this world. Because all the covers of all the magazines, the front cover of the magazines are always occupied by people who are having more of these 6 things. You cannot become famous person in this world unless you have more greed, more pride, more lust, more envy, more anger and more illusion. If you analyze, it is those with having excess of these 6, they become famous. We don't encourage that. But I am saying that is the nature. Right? Someone is very rich, someone has done some kind of crime because he's got so much of envy and anger. Is it not? I was giving a lecture at a jail in Mumbai, Arthur Road Jail. Any of you been to jail? So as I was giving a talk, I saw right in front of me 6 people, a group of 6 people sitting with Krishna locket, with Kanthimala, and Krishna locket around their neck. And I was wondering, who are these people? Are they the next speakers after me? Are they guests who have come? And in jail you can't even ask anyone, kaise aana hua? And as I was giving my talk, in the jail, someone called Chopati to the operator and said, Gaurang Prabhu kahan gaye? And the operator said, jail gaye. So I was talking, and after my speech, I couldn't resist myself. I went to them and asked, what happened? How did you land up? So they said, they were all 3 of them were engineers, 3 of them were doctors. And they said that there was some drama which was showing some blasphemy of, some religious things, and they became so angry that they threw bomb during the drama. And they got arrested under the Anti-Terrorist Act. So I said, Arey, you didn't figure out what will the consequences? They said, Arey, जब गुस्सा चढ़ जाता है तो चढ़ जाता है. So anger, So in this world, these 6, greed, pride, lust, envy, anger, greed. Like there was one very famous, president in Philippines, and they had looted so much of money from their people that they were finally deposed by the next person. And when they raided their palace, they found 20,000 pairs of shoes in the wives' cupboards. 20,000 pairs of shoes they had collected from different parts of the world. That was their hobby. This was in the late 90s. This was in news. And Radhanath Maharaj was giving a lecture, and he said, she will need a Virat robe to wear all that. Right? Only in Purusha Sukta we hear Sahasrapat, 20,000 pairs, what you will do? But that is greed. So therefore these anarthas, which we call anarthas, greed, pride, lust, envy, anger, illusion, they have some value in this world. It is some currency, it can buy you something here. But you take these and stand at the door of Golok and show there that I have greed, pride, lust, envy, anger, illusion. In return, what will you get? What will they say at Golok? One more birth. You can't get entry here. Right? Because only when we are having a seva or selfless service attitude, with a pure desire to serve without selfish consideration, then we are allowed to enter. The only currency which works there is love, not lust. So therefore these 6 are considered anartha for someone wanting to travel to Golok. Otherwise, if someone just wants to stay on in this world, they are very valuable things. It will help you become famous. It will help you get various things in this world. So you can't say that rupee is useless or rupee is not of value. But when you are in America and you want a transaction there, then it has no value to get anything in return per se. So therefore we define it as anartha from the perspective of someone wanting to go to the spiritual world. Like that. So therefore lust and love are different. Right? When our restaurant was opening, first thing Maharaj told is we should get pizza. we should make pizza. And Maharaj himself brought, all the ingredients for pizza and everything and gave it to us. And I told him, but Maharaj, in India, nobody likes pizza. None of the brahmacharis, they like pizza here. And Maharaj said, what do brahmacharis know? What pizza are you talking about? And one devotee used to make pizza there. And previous version of pizza was, get one bread, put some tomato sauce on the bread, put some piece of cheese and some fried items and put on top, bake it. That used to be our version of pizza. And that was the only thing we had. So I said, and Maharaj had also tasted it, he never commented before. For 10-15 years, that is the only thing he was having. Whenever anyone would say, Maharaj, pizza, pizza, so he would come and simply eat and go. So then I told Maharaj, that is the pizza and we don't like it so much. And Maharaj said, that is a perverted reflection of pizza. One sannyasi from the West, he was saying, somebody was asking him, how do you define a pizza? He said, it is a self-realized chapati. So then, when actually the pizza started getting made, then we realized, this is totally different from what we had heard with the word pizza. So everyone in this world talks about love, love, love. Right? Bollywood talks about love, Hollywood talks about love, Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about love. So, which love are we talking about? Is it not? So the whole idea we are discussing is prema. And all Bollywood songs are filled with prema. But the word doesn't mean much. What is important is, what is the concept that word is representing. So therefore, avetya means Rukmini became aware that this is what Rukmini is planning. So the jiva must become aware that the mind is trying to cheat me. The mind is trying to hold me captive by the forces of envy and all the other anarthas. The mind is my enemy if uncontrolled. Awareness. Second, Durmana, she became upset that she is going to be given in marriage to Shishupal. So this upset her. So the second principle is, one must have a strong desire to end the suffering. First of all, the awareness must be there that if I surrender to my anarthas, I will suffer. And then second thing is, desire must be there to end that suffering. If the desire is not there, who can help? Third is, once that awareness and desire is there, then one can take the third step. Vicintyaptam dvijam kanchit. Aptam dvijam. Then one should approach a qualified physician, a doctor. Therefore, the third step is take shelter of a bona fide spiritual guide who can help you out, who can take you out. Vicintyaptam dvijam kanchit krishnaya prahino dhrutam. And that guru, that spiritual shelter becomes the messenger who takes our message to Krishna. And thus, this qualified Brahmana was given the letter by Rukmini and he travelled to Dwarka. And therefore, Krishnaya prahinot dhrutam. Dhrutam means there must be a sense of urgency in this. It is not that, we will do it. Aram se karenge. Jaldi kya hai? Right? There was one doctor in Bhaktivedanta hospital. I would tell him, chant. 16 rounds. He said, 16 is too much. 8 round, 8 is too much. 4 round, 1 round. He said, I am so busy day and night, I am doing surgery. He said, Hare, for you it is very easy, you are a sadhu, you are simply chanting Hare Krishna day and night, what is the problem? I am surgeon. Day and night I am doing surgery, even at night I am doing surgery. I am so absorbed in surgery, even while sleeping, if you wake me up, I will start doing surgery. So I have no time. Maximum I can do is 4 mantras. So he would chant 4 mantras. So I said, something is better than nothing. Out of causeless mercy, he started 4 mantras. Then after 6 months, he went to 8 mantras. So he was on another track. All the other doctors were on different track. This one was a special track. So after another 3-4 months, again he went to 32 mantras. After 2 years of preaching, he came to 64 mantras. So after the program, I was talking to him one day, और डॉक्टर साहब कैसा चल रहा है आपका, कितना कर रहे हैं? And he told me 64 चल रहा है sir. And another initiated devotee was standing next to me. He got a shock. मेरा दीक्षा होकर मैं 16 पे अटका हूं, ये डॉक्टर 64 पे आ गए. I took him on the side. I said, mantras, not malas. So just recently again I saw him after many years. I did not have the guts to ask him, क्या कर रहे हो, कितना कर रहे हो? So some people feel, अरे, you Hare Krishnas are doing very good. Go ahead. बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हो, लगे रहो. हमारे लिए भी आप ही करो. Dhrutam means a sense of urgency must be there. Not that we will do peacefully, no problem. Like that. So then this Brahmana, he enters into Dwarka. And Krishna receives him. And Krishna says, Vipran swalabha santushtan sadun bhuta suhruttama nirahankarena shantah namasye shirasa asakrit. So Krishna is saying to this Brahman, Vipran swalabha santushtan, Brahmanas like you are completely satisfied and peaceful with acquired knowledge. So he says, basically Krishna describes 5 qualities of a bona fide spiritual guide. If we are giving shelter to someone, we must have these qualities. What are these qualities? The first quality, Swalabha santushtan. First is, the person giving shelter must have satisfaction. Satisfaction which comes as a result of acquired knowledge. Second, sadhun. His character must be saintly. The character must be saintly means there must be a uniformity or congruence between his words, thoughts and his actions. Right? So when your thoughts and your words and your actions, they all are in sync with each other. They are in tune with each other. They become non-different from each other. That is the basis for satisfaction and peace. That day you will experience real peace. Till the time the thoughts are different from the words and different from the actions, one can never experience peace. Vipran swalabha santushtan sadhun bhuta suhruttama. So apart from satisfaction and saintly character, the third is nirahankarina, pridelessness. Not having pride. Not thinking that I am someone or something great. Not feeling satisfaction in being honored by others. Prideless. One must be prideless. Nirahankarina. Fourth is Shantan. One must be peaceful. Sadhun Bhuta Suhurt. Namasye Shirasa Sakrit. And Bhuta Suhruttama, he must be a well-wisher of all the souls. He must wish well for all the souls. Someone approached Prabhupada and said, Srila Prabhupada, so you are the spiritual master of Allen Ginsberg? Prabhupada said, no, I am the spiritual master of the whole world. The only thing is some people know, others don't. That means I am trying to help all the souls go back home, back to Godhead. My services are available. If you want to make use of it, take it. Bhuta Suhruttama means well-wisher. One must be a real well-wisher of all the souls, of all the jivas. So now at this stage, Rukmini's letter is being read out by the Brahmana. Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shrinvatam te nirvishya karna vivarai haratongatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham tvai achyuta vishati chitram apatrapam me. So in the first shloka of our letter, Rukmini Devi is revealing to Krishna, Shrutva Gunan Bhuvana Sundara, O most beautiful personality in the entire creation, O Bhuvana Sundara. Shrutva Gunan, by hearing about your beauty, O Krishna, Nirvishya Karana Vivarai, when those qualities, when those came through my ears into my heart, Harato Angatapam, all of the heat or the passion in all my senses was snatched away. This is exactly opposite of description of material form. To the extent one becomes attached to material form and the beauty of the material form, the angatapam increases. So Rukmini is saying that nirvishya karna vivarai harato angatapam. So simply by hearing about Krishna and Krishna's qualities, what happens? One becomes free from lusty desires. And that is the falastuti. Vikriditam prajavadhubiridam cha vishnoho shraddhanvitonu shunuyat athavarnayetya. It is described in the 10th canto in the Ras Lila section that if someone hears this Ras Lila pastime, Vikriditam vrajavadubiridam cha vishnoho shraddhanvito, with great faith, then all of one's lust is purified. One becomes purified of his lusty desires by hearing about Krishna's pastimes with the gopis. So therefore, this is the transcendental nature of Krishna's qualities, pastimes and activities. That is what is being described here. Nirvishya karna vivarai harato angatapam rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham. So the eyes are searching for the most beautiful object in the entire creation. And we are perpetually dissatisfied because the eyes can never really find something totally satisfying their expectation. The mind and the eyes are always thirsty. Life after life, this thirst is not quenched. Life after life, the soul is searching. And that hunger and that thirst is manifested in the soul trying to acquire various objects, trying to taste various things, trying to connect with so many relationships. These are all manifestations of the deep-seated dissatisfaction lingering within the heart from millions of lifetimes. And therefore she says here, Rupam drisham drishimatam akhilartha labham. The greatest benefit, the greatest labha is when the eyes are able to see Krishna. That is the end of the search for the eyes. There is nothing higher to be gained. There is nothing greater to be seen. Sum and substance of exquisite beauty is Krishna's beautiful form. And therefore, Rukmini Devi says, Tvai achyuta vishati chitram apatrapam me. And you may say, oh, how shameless is Rukmini that she is writing a letter like this. How can she write a letter like this? This is shameless. This is characterless. This is useless. Because this was another age. Nowadays it is considered normal. And someone doesn't write, it is considered abnormal. So therefore Rukmini is expecting that Krishna will counter. Arey, you are supposed to be a girl of good family. How could you write a letter like this? Proposing like this? So therefore she is saying, Tvai achyuta vishata chitram apatrapam me. And my dear Lord, you may blame me that I am writing a letter like this attracted to you. Definitely 50% I am to blame for writing a letter. But there is no one in the entire creation who is as beautiful as you and as attractive as you. And because of being so all attractive, 50% of blame lies with you also. Your all attractiveness is so enchanting that it makes people shameless. Right? And therefore, the gopis are warning, be careful before you hear too much about Krishna. If you hear too much about Krishna, then you will also become homeless. So therefore one becomes completely shameless in the presence of Krishna because he is so all attractive. And therefore we start chanting and dancing in front of Krishna. And new people get bewildered when they see that. Somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, what do Hare Krishnas do for recreation? And Prabhupada said, our process is only recreation. People spend so much of money, energy and everything to have a party. Right? Our party begins at 4:30. Early in the morning. Who can dance so early in the morning? Somebody was telling us, we invited one boy, you come to the temple, Radha Gopinath temple. He said, no, I don't go to temple and all. I like dancing, I go to the discotheque. And there is a famous discotheque in South Mumbai, it is called RG's. So this devotee told him, hey, you come to our discotheque, it is also called RG's, Radha Gopinath's. So he came. And then he was dancing in the Sunday Kirtan, he liked it. And he said, I have only one question, that in discotheque all boys and girls dance together, in temple why both separate? So the devotee explained, here only two people dance together, Radha and Krishna. He said, no, still it is very enjoyable, I am happy. I am able to dance more here than in discotheque. So then he asked, how much I have to pay for this dancing? So he said, hey, it's free. Very good. And then he was taken down for prasadam. So immediately he started taking out money. How much I have to pay? He said, this is also free. Jabardast hai tumhara ISKCON mandir. Nachna free, gana free, khana free. Is it not? If you look at it, it is all free. So going back to Godhead is free. In that sense. So Prahlad Maharaj says going to hell is very expensive. You have to go to bar to purchase liquor. Will they give free? No. You have to pay. To eat meat, you have to purchase. You have to pay. To have illicit relationship, you have to pay. So going to hell is a very expensive proposal. Going back to Godhead is free. But still, Dil mange more. In spite of this, it is not so easy, it is not so simple. So therefore, Rukmini Devi's letter is a very hallmark. And then it's a very long pastime. Rukmini is waiting for Shishupal, for Krishna, this Brahmana, to return. And when she finds that the Brahmana is not returning, she is in anxiety. So they organize one puja at the temple of Ambika. And as Rukmini Devi is returning from that, so many big kings are standing. Shishupal is also standing. And suddenly Krishna jumps out and picks up Rukmini, places on the chariot and departs. Before even Shishupal figures out what's going on. And Krishna has a lot of experience of stealing. In Vrindavan. Vrajaya Prasiddham Navanita Chauram. Right? You can't beat him in that. So probably he has more experience of stealing than fighting. So he is stealing. So he just told Rukmini, put on the chariot and started going, and immediately he put the chariot's reins in Rukmini's hands. And all of these big armies are surrounding and wanting to attack, and Balaram is also there along with the armies of Dwarka. And suddenly Rukmini sees herself in the middle of a huge battleground. That is supposed to be marriage. There is no Shehnai. There is no Mridanga and Dholak and this and that. Only bows and arrows and swords. So that is the kind of marriage Krishna likes to do. Something dramatic, not boring. So at this point, Prahasya Bhagavan Chaha Masnabhir Vamalochane Vinangshati Adhuna Etad Tavakai Shatravam Balam. So when Rukmini's face is pale with fear and anxiety, and she is unable to understand what's going on and how I'm going to escape from this situation. Shishupal and Rukmini's armies are huge and formidable, and Jarasandha is also there, the old friend of Krishna. You know that Jarasandha attacked Krishna 17 times. The first time Jarasandha attacked, Krishna and Balram killed every soldier, every horse, every elephant, every donkey, every other member of that army. And Balram was about to kill Jarasandha also. Krishna said, wait. Balramji, our mission is Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya cha Dushkritam. So many Dushkritas are all over the creation. How we are going to catch all of them? Here we have a very good preacher. Our Jarasandha is the best amongst preachers. He will go and catch all of them, bring them at one place. When he brings them at one place, we can distribute prasadam. Which is easier? To go out and distribute prasadam is so difficult. When everyone comes here, it is easy. In ISKCON temples, when the prasadam is left over, then we have to go searching for people to distribute at night, food for life. It is very difficult. And people are not interested also. Beggars are also now very much having choices. We would go out with khichdi and beggar would be sleeping. I say, kuch leo, kya laya? So therefore, definitely he is not hungry. Khichdi laya, puri bhaji lana chahiye. Nahi chahiye. So therefore, all of these demons said, bring them at one place. So that was the mission. So Krishna engaged Jarasandha also in his mission. And Jarasandha also such a powerful preacher that in spite of the entire army getting routed, he could still manage people to come and have faith in him as the leader. That is amazing preaching skills. None of the other people in the second army ever thought what happened to all the one in the first army. That is really called moodhas. That is classic moodha. All the people in the third army never asked Jarasandha or questioned or asked each other. Not a single fellow from first army returned, from the second army returned. Why are we going? No, Jai Jarasandha. So 17 times the army was routed totally. And then Krishna knew that Rukmini is going to now send letters, so I must go to Dwarka to receive that Brahmana. So Krishna suddenly thought, lot of fighting over now, I must settle down in Grihastha ashram. So he just started walking away. And Jarasandha saw that, rascal, Arey, you're running away. And Jarasandha started shouting, run chor, that you're leaving the battlefield. But he didn't know that he's not leaving battlefield afraid of him. He decided to change rasa from Virya to Madhurya. That's why he was walking away. So Prahasya, so Krishna smiled at Rukmini. Bhagavan cha aha and spoke. Ma asma bhair vamalochane, O beautiful eyed Rukmini, don't feel fearful. Vinangshati adhuna, at this stage now, all of these armies of Rukmi and Shishupal will be routed and completely defeated, destroyed. By whom? And then Krishna pointed to the armies which had come from Dwarka along with Balram. The Yadava army which had come from Dwarka and headed by Balramji was standing there. Krishna pointed to them and said, Tavakai Shatravam Balam. Rukmini, here are your armies. Your armies will defeat Rukmi and Shishupal's armies. So the Acharyas explain that Krishna had connected with Rukmini only few minutes ago. But within a few moments, Krishna has transferred all rights to Rukmini. Krishna is so eager to give all his opulences, all of his kingdom, all of his armies to anyone who connects with him. He is so large-hearted, so eager. Tavakai. Krishna is not saying, Rukmini, my armies from Dwarka will defeat. Don't worry. He said, your armies. These are your armies. And Rukmini, my armies? I never saw this army. I had nothing to do with army. So that is how eager Krishna is to bestow his opulences upon us. He is waiting in the spiritual world to share his opulences. But we are only so miserly, constantly calculating, should I give myself up completely to Krishna? Should I really surrender fully? Should I really connect with him? What will be the consequences? What will be the pros and cons? So many calculations we keep doing. And in this way, Rukmini, she was captured by Krishna and taken away. And Balramji and others routed the armies. Shishupal was defeated. And Shishupal was sitting there totally morose. Jarasandha came to him and said, Shishupal, just with one defeat, you are so morose. And he quotes a verse also. Everything is happening by the time factor of the Lord. So Jarasandha spoke philosophy also. And he told Shishupal, with one defeat, this is your situation, just look at me. 17 times, not out. Still continuing. That is enthusiasm. Success means to go from failure to failure without loss of enthusiasm. So Jarasandha could have become a motivational speaker. And then finally Rukmi chased Balramji and he was caught, and then Balramji wanted to kill, and there is a nice episode of Rukmini trying to defend. Don't kill. And Balramji said, I am going to kill. And then Krishna became so bewildered that if I take any of the sides, I will be in trouble. So Krishna kept smiling and looking somewhere else. He didn't want to make an issue on the day of marriage. So finally, Balramji decided, okay, Rukmini is pleading so much. So they just shaved Rukmini partially different places. He gave him like a punk hairstyle. Which is glorious nowadays. But that time it was considered strange and odd. So then finally Rukmini was released. But he was so insulted, he took a vow, I will stay here, and he made a kingdom of Bhojakatak and stayed there. Finally to be killed by Balram later, during another marriage. So in this way, on the day of Rukmini Devi's appearance, we can meditate on some of her beautiful qualities. And Radharani is considered to be the Vama, or the left wing, who is aggressive, who is very who's very vocal about what she wants from Krishna. So there are two kinds of gopis, the Vama and the Dakshin. So it is described that the expansion of Chandravali is actually Rukmini. That she is the Dakshin. That means the right wing, the one which is submissive, quiet, will not speak up against Krishna. So therefore, the leader of all the queens in Dwarka is astonishingly led by the right wing element of the expansions of the Lakshmis, which is Rukmini Devi. So therefore there is also a beautiful chapter, Pranay Kala, where Rukmini and Krishna have a quarrel, and Krishna is trying to agitate Rukmini, but she would not get agitated, and she just faints. So therefore, on this day, let us pray that we are also able to send our message to Krishna successfully through the devotees by chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So that Krishna is pleased with our message, our cry, our plea, and Krishna also takes us with him in his chariot to the spiritual world.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances. Prabhu, I heard somewhere that actually in Vrindavan, Purnamasi conducts the marriage between Radha and Krishna in front of... So then that's the first marriage, no?
Yeah, so I mean, you're really going deep, man. So, that is true. There are two kinds of rasas. One is called Swakiya and Parakiya. So, in that sense, even in Vrindavan, there are various pastimes during which Krishna expanded himself as the cowherd boys, and then the marriage was conducted during that year. In that year, during Brahma Vimohan Leela, was the year where all the marriages also got consummated. So in that sense, Krishna married all the gopis. But the Acharyas, especially Chakravarti Pad, he wrote a lot of literatures to establish the supremacy of Parakiya. Right? So because in Parakiya, for example, suppose, you are coming to the temple, and suppose after today's class, you feel inspired to clean the temple hall with a broom. I'm saying suppose. Okay, what's your name?
Ashish.
Ashish, okay. Ashish Prabhu suddenly gets inspiration that I should assist Mohan Rupa Prabhu in cleaning. And he takes up the broom and starts cleaning. Right? So, but somebody may be appointed by Mohan Rupa Prabhu amongst brahmacharis to clean. And he is supposed to clean, but he likes the class so much that after the class he goes and meditates on what he has heard. So one who's supposed to do, he doesn't do, but you are not expected to do, but you come forward and do. Okay, so there is a formal duty and there is an informal inspiration. So when you are coming forward out of your informal inspiration to do something, then, Mohan Rupa Prabhu feels very inspired and says, "Hey, ye dekho, kahan se devta aa gaya?" बिना बताए बिना पूछे इतनी कुछ कर रहा है सेवा. Right? So sometimes when there is no formal bonding or established relationship, then one's contribution is valued more. So when there is a husband and wife relationship, then the wife is expected, and there are certain duties which she has. Right? And when that relationship is not there, there is no need for someone to come and actually do certain things. But still they are doing. So therefore the Parakiya Bhav is considered a higher rasa, a higher bhav, where they are taking greater risk of their personal prestige, of their personal, honor. They are risking the chastisement of family members. There is more at stake. There is more being surrendered, more being invested in Parakiya. Therefore that is considered higher. Okay? But that is for Krishna Lila. We are all supposed to follow proper bona fide principles. Okay? So thank you all very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanande.